Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala rasulih. We have to be very careful in regards to our approach to scientific research. What's scientific research? Sometimes scientists and researchers, they come and tell us certain things. Do you understand that? So we have to be very careful. And let me tell you a story. I recently came across an article regarding one lady. She used to do research. I'm not sure. It could be. I think she's from Harvard, or it could be from another well-renowned university. So she had done some very interesting research regarding psychological behavior. And in this research, she said that she proposed that if you do certain words before an experiment or certain statements or something like this, I can't remember exactly what it was, it changes the behavior of this. And she done quite a few projects like this, and it was quite interesting research. Now, a few people got this, it smelled a bit fishy to them. That one woman, she got so many like groundbreaking research just in, so they started looking into her research in more detail. And what they found that the research she was doing was flawed. The material was slightly manipulated. Now it wasn't really like, if you look at it, it wasn't evil intent. This research didn't like harm anybody, destroy anybody, lie against anybody. But by doing this research, what happens now? People look up to her. She'll get contract, she'll get promotion, she'll get chance to do podcasts and interviews, she'll get more wages. You understand? So scientific research is not always 100% sincerity lillah. They have their own, I remember someone was telling us that one person, he was working for a medical company. So he wanted to research a medicine or an illness which was not common in the United Kingdom, or not common in the first world countries. It was more common in third world countries. So his boss called him, and his boss said to him, this medicine you want to research, or this illness you want to research, who is it for? Who's going to benefit from this? So he said to people, this. So he goes, who's going to buy this medicine? Because if you research this, there's no bias for this medicine or for this illness. Do you understand? So you get it. Because if you research an illness that poor people are involved in, they can't afford to buy medicine anyways. It's rather you rather do what? Do research for illnesses which people are rich going to be involved in. You're wondering which you have a market for this. So a lot of this research has a thing. There's somebody saying, and I heard somebody saying recently, goes that if you think that the world is so simple, you're kind of deluding. If me and you were playing a game, sometimes people cheat, don't they? Why do they cheat? They want to win. Imagine if money was involved in that game, £1,000 for every game. What's the possibility of somebody cheating in that game? £10,000, £100,000. So when people do research, there's thousands of pounds and sometimes millions, sometimes even billions. And even then, you might not do research yourself directly, but if the company is a very influential company, they have a multi-billion-dollar company, they will do research, or they'll present research in a way which benefits their company. Are you following? Like for example, you've got a cigarette company, they will not want research to be published that will harm their product. They will try to influence these, for example, even in politics, what happens? Everybody knows that gambling is bad for society. That people who makes money, the companies make money, and people who invest in gambling, people who not invest, people who gamble, they lose out money. They involve in poverty, loss, it causes crime, it causes abuse, it causes all of these kind of things. But who makes the laws? The politicians. So if we look at it, many of these politicians receive money from these companies. So they will not try to publish research, or they will try to avoid people doing research regarding the effects of gambling. They will try to avoid people doing research regarding the effects of alcohol. To not let that get published, not let that become well known. Why? It will affect their product. Do you understand? So if you see any research saying, similarly, there's also one, there's recently in the news as well, there was one about the effects of abortion on women. Women who abort their children, does it cause mental illness or not? Now, again, when you have this woke, my body, my rights. So they're going to push this, whichever companies are for this. And similarly, those companies who make money from abortions, they're going to push this. They don't want this research. You understand? So now, it's not simply us, let's look at the research honestly and come to a conclusion. Everybody's behind this. You have the National Rifle Association in America. Now, it's not simply about rights and danger. There's much more politics involved in that. We're not in America, so we don't know what all the politics are. But it's not simple. It's not always a simple thing. There's always people involved. So if you see a research, for example, regarding evolution, don't base your deen on this research. Because this research is always going to be, because for example, religion is a problem for secularism, for modernism. So anything that makes religion look wrong, or anything that makes religion look stupid, they're going to promote that. So any research, even if it's like fake research, they will promote it. And any research against evolution, they will not promote it. Again, I saw another research, but I'm not even sure if that research is correct. That of all these animals which have not evolved at all, I think one of the grasshoppers, I could be wrong on this one. So I don't even trust that research as well. But even that research saying, well, this is what they were saying. This is research against evolution, which you will not see in the mainstream media or mainstream promotion. Why? Because they don't want this. And even that, we don't base our facts about religion on these, because these are all human things and it's all politics behind of this. We base our religion on Islam. So let's say, for example, there's something to say, people say, well, I'm not going to say some more severe sins, but like alcohol. They say, alcohol is not harmful. We say, we don't care if it's harmful or not. You can do all of your research and say it's beneficial, but even we know it's harmful, it's obvious in our eyes. But even if you were to prove it, it's not 100% safe for our health, for our society, and everything, we don't care. Islam is impermissible, we follow our religion. If somebody says, it's 100% proof, we have research, that the flood of Noah never took place, Noah alayhi salatu wasalam, that flood never took place, we said, we don't care, we have research. Allah said happened in the Quran, we believe in this. Your research right now is based on what you have come. Our research is not qat'an. Let's say, for example, let's say we live in this room, only this room. Yes? This is our full knowledge. We have nothing but. So, to us, what's the largest creation, largest thing? The screen? The chair? Yes? So, our research is what? The largest item in the whole world is what? This chair. Because that's all we've seen, haven't we? If you go outside, you say, oh, there's something, this is the largest, there's a sofa actually bigger than this sofa. So we've got new research. What's the biggest thing in the whole world? The sofa next door. When you go outside, we say, oh, we've got new research. What's the new research? The biggest thing in the world is a tree. That's basically what's happening. As our knowledge increases, we're just changing our research. So they will say, for example, so the summary is that when you see anything outside, any research, this is all based on current information. So we're in one room, we move to another room. We went outside. We haven't seen the whole world yet. And eventually on the day of Qiyamah, we realize, oh right, the biggest thing is Mount Everest. So on the day of Qiyamah, we see everything. So even if we're in this room, whether we know about Mount Everest or not, the biggest thing is actually Mount Everest exists. Something 200 or 300 or 500,000 times the size of our tree, our sofa. Just because we haven't discovered it yet, we haven't reached that yet. You understand? So similarly, our example is, we're in this room, somebody comes from Mount Everest and tells us, you're living in this room, this sofa is not the biggest thing, there's actually something called a huge mountain, it's like thousands of times bigger than the sofa. And we're scientists. We're saying no. Our observation is that this sofa is the biggest thing in the whole world. That's what it is, isn't it, really? So the scientists have a limited information because of their what? Where their resources are. So to us, we're the scientists in this room. And we've observed, we use our eyes and we use our measuring tape. And we said, there's nothing bigger than this sofa in the whole world. Because our information only gets as far as what? This room. Do you understand? And then after that, we research new land, something new. We're going to space. Space is next door. And we say, oh, this is a 2-seater sofa. It's actually a 3-seater sofa. So now we have new research. And the Prophet is like what? The person who went to Mount Everest. And he's seen Mount Everest, he's seen all the mountains, he's seen the Grand Canyon. He's saying, no, there's something more than this. Do you understand? There's something more than this. You understand? So the prophets are the people who have seen the whole world. They've seen the Grand Canyon, they've seen Mount Everest, they've seen all of these mountains. And we are like what? Scientists in this room. And then after we found one new room, we found a passageway, and according to this, we're now making our research. Do you understand? So if you see anything in the research, be very, very careful regarding it, because they're all susceptible. The only research basically means our knowledge has now increased, gone one step further. And the Anbiya already reached 100 steps ahead of us. And they've seen this Mount Everest, they've seen the Grand Canyon, and they're telling us Jannah exists, Jahannam exists. They're telling us that Allah has informed us that there was a flood of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. So, for example, if you say, well, regarding the flood of Nuh, was it national, was it local, national, or worldwide? Don't base your tafsir on research. Base your tafsir upon the aqwal of Sahaba. So if a Sahabi says it was national, it was local, based on that you can say, well, that's one opinion of the Sahaba. But don't say, oh, because there's this research saying no, there's no proof of a global flood, so therefore I'm reluctant to accept this tafsir. No. Don't do that. Are you following? Because this, and I was telling you again, this is another theory. Even if this is a flood, I don't know. They were saying that, for example, if you've ever been snorkeling, you see small little dunes or small little waves in the bottom of the sand, according to the waves. So they said sometimes in some deserts you can actually see similar patterns of hills, like 100 feet hills, which if you zoom out, it looks like the water when you're snorkeling. So the same way that much water or this much water when you're snorkeling leaves little sand dunes and sand remnants on the ground, it looks very similar to what we've seen in some deserts. Is evidence of a global flood. Again, don't even base tafsir upon this research. This can be wrong. You understand? We're just saying here what the Anbiya told us, we believe in this because they have seen what we have not seen. You understand? And all the research that you see, there's always what behind of it. What research is done, what is not done, influenced by money and politics. What research is publicized, not publicized, research by money and politics. So we should never ever base upon this. Our ilm comes from a source which is not influenced by anything. It's only influenced by ilm, sahih ilm, we believe in wahi, the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah reveals to a sadiq, Nabi al-Amin, he's sadiq. So whatever he conveys to us, we believe that 100% without any doubt. And if you have a research, that's your research currently, you'll find out later on. Because even, for example, there's so many things, so right now we're understanding it, before it didn't make sense to us. So many things that we've come to understand right now, the other things we don't understand right now, we'll understand later on. Do you understand? Do you understand today's nasiha? Today's lesson?